Pok É Mon fan+system+daily life+long story+no female lead+challenge to the martial arts hall+form a faction. Note. Gentle readers can enter and simply mark it off if they find it unattractive. After Qi Bai's death, he unexpectedly traveled to the world of Pok É Mon. In this life, his mother was a cultivator, his father was the owner of the Fire Taoist Hall, and he also discovered a severely injured fossil pterosaur while secretly going out due to his protagonist aura. After rescuing the fossil pterosaur, the two successfully formed a partnership. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining their first Pok É Mon. The reward is 1B. Level Dragon Tooth and 5 experience candies. Pokemon name. Fossil Pterodactyl, level. LV 45 attribute. Rock flying characteristic. Hard head gender. Male status. Near death, only 1% of strength remaining, qualification. Heavenly King level. The nightmare god plunged the entire city into nightmares. Qi Bai asked several cranes in the organization to solve the problem. Half an hour later, the younger brother handed a super ball to Qi Bai and said calmly, "Boss, the nightmare god has already solved it." Gyoka and Guladu are awakened by evil organizations, and Likong's sitting is entangled by outsiders and cannot come to stop. All members of the Dawn organization, gather together. Chapter 1. The Imperial Family. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. I remember when I was a child, I rushed towards my bald head. When Qi Bai saw a Cucumber Special Effects user calmly saying this sentence on a video website, he was startled and directly cursed. Sleeping trough. What kind of abnormality is this? Just as I was about to pick up the water glass on the table and take a sip of water to suppress my shock, I accidentally poured too much water and struggled for a while. He was choked to death. But this happened 16 years ago, without him, just because he had traveled. And it's wearing into the world of Pok É Mon. In this world, people and Pok É Mon live in harmony and help each other, creating many beautiful bonds. Qi Bai, what are you staring at? Later, Teacher Li will randomly check the content of the 3 Pok É Mon. Little Fire Dragon, Johnny Turtle, and Bulbasaur Seed. Why don't you take a quick look? The fat man impatiently scolded Qi Bai twice, indicating that he shouldn't waste time and should take a few quick glances, saying that he might be able to pass the test. If this is spot checked by Teacher Li and still cannot be answered, I estimate my hands will be useless in the next few days. Unfortunately, the bell for class also rang at this moment, and the chubby man beside him changed his face slightly and cursed angrily. Grass, so fast. Immediately after, a woman wearing a white shirt on her upper body and black trousers on her lower body slowly walked into the door. I saw a majestic aura between her eyebrows and eyes, calmly scanning the audience below. Alright, be quiet. The noisy classroom suddenly fell silent, and everyone sat quietly in their seats, staring at the podium in front of them. Spot check. The 2 words appear particularly loud in the empty classroom and also touch the heartstrings of every student. It's over, don't hit me, don't hit me. The fat man muttered on, praying that he wouldn't be hit. Zhou Yuan. The whole class suddenly breathed a sigh of relief, and their eyes immediately focused on Zhou Yuan. I ask you, what are the properties of Bulbasaur seeds? Li Xinyue coldly faced, holding a book in her hand, quietly waiting for an answer. Upon hearing that he was calling himself, Zhou Yuan immediately stood up with trembling legs and lowered his head, whispering, "Yes. It's grass. What else? Ah. What? Isn't the Bulbasaur only a grass-type seed?" Zhou Yuan's face was full of panic. How could Bulbasaur have 2 attributes? Besides the grass type, there is also a poison type in Bulbasaur seeds. Students have memorized it. The second question is, what is the racial value of Bulbasaur seeds? Upon being asked this question, Zhou Yuan, who had not taken a few glances at the information, suddenly became unaware. He looked up at the stern gaze and immediately became discouraged. 3:18. Li Xinyue, who was about to organize language criticism for Zhou Yuan, was immediately stunned. She didn't expect Zhou Yuan, who hesitated for several seconds and couldn't say the race value of the Bulbasaur seed, to speak up at the last minute. This made her a bit discouraged. She had originally planned to kill the chicken as a warning to the monkey. Suddenly, she thought of something with a slight smile on the corner of her mouth. That's right, that's the third question. Ah. There's a third question. Zhou Yuan was suddenly confused. He remembered that Li Xinyue didn't have the habit of asking the third question. Usually, after asking 2 questions, the next person is replaced, which immediately froze his previously cheerful expression. What is the special attack of Bulbasaur seed? Li Xinyue thought to herself, is this question impossible to solve? That's right, she deliberately planned to use this class to tidy up these crane tails in the class. Otherwise, what will happen to the college entrance examination in 1 year? 65, what? When Li Xinyue heard the correct answer, her legs couldn't help but tremble a few times. Teacher, the special attack value of Meow frog seed is 65. Zhou Yuan increased his volume slightly, as if afraid that Li Xinyue wouldn't hear it. Although Zhou Yuan was worried in his heart, he still believed in Qi Bai very much. Teacher, am I right? Zhou Yuan's face gradually dissipated as he looked at Li Xinyue with a withered expression, revealing a smile. By the way, sit down. Li Xinyue felt a bit annoyed after her plan was disrupted, and even more so when she saw Zhou Yuan's petty and successful demeanor. Qi Bai, you truly deserve to be my good brother. You have enough loyalty. Zhou Yuan whispered his gratitude to Qi Bai. Just now, Qi Bai used his fingers to write numbers on Zhou Yuan's legs. Zhou Yuan's body has been extremely sensitive since childhood, so he can naturally sense what Qi Bai wrote. The next student to be sampled is also the crane tail in the class, and he is not as lucky as Zhou Yuan. With Qi Bai's reminder, Li Xinyue seized the opportunity to educate him harshly. Look at what achievements you have in the future. If you don't study hard, how can you cultivate a strong Pok É Mon in the future? Do you still expect Pok É Mon to train and command yourself? Zhou Yuan raised his neck proudly, nodding in agreement as if in agreement with Li Xinyue. But soon, he suffered retribution. Look at Zhou Yuan, he can answer 2 out of 3 questions correctly, but why can't you answer one of them correctly? Come, Zhou Yuan, tell him, what are the 2 characteristics of Bulbasaur seeds? Ah. Zhou Yuan, who was enjoying being praised by the teacher, suddenly had a constipated face. He hesitated and stood up, looking nervously at Qi Bai for a moment. Qi Bai shook his head helplessly. The numbers were fine, there weren't many strokes, but the text, in front of Li Xinyue, kept making small movements with his hands below. Isn't this when Li Xinyue is blind? Sure enough. Zhou Yuan is no exception. Not only did he stand with other classmates for a class, but he also fined him 100 times for copying materials. Qi Yi had no choice but to ask Li Xinyue some questions. What attribute of Pok É Mon can counter Bulbasaur seeds? What is the Bulbasaur frog seed? Zhou Yuan didn't know anything about it, and in the end, he felt a bit hopeless. Under the gaze of his classmates and teachers, he no longer had the same energetic appearance as before. After class, Qi Bai sighed and said, the characteristics of Bulbasaur frog seeds are lush and chlorophyll. Pok É Mon with fire attributes, ice attributes, flight attributes, and superpower attributes all suppress Bulbasaur. The Bulbasaur frog seed is the seed Pok É Mon. I'll go. Qi Bai, weren't you playing Pok É Mon v5 competitive game with me last night? When did you review? Zhou Yuan and Li Xinyue finally left, then sat back in their seat and looked at Qi Bai with a monster-like expression. Are you stupid or am I stupid? My mother's Pok É Mon has a Bulbasaur seed, haven't you seen it several times? Qi Bai's mother's Bulbasaur seed hatched from a Pok É Mon egg exchanged for points a while ago, and everyone didn't expect it to be a Bulbasaur seed inside. Bulbasaur, Little Fire Dragon, and Johnny Turtle are collectively referred to as the three royal families. The ones with the lowest growth potential are at the professional level, so they are very rare. Chapter 2. Professional Trainers. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The levels of Pok É Mon are divided into Level 1.19, Normal Level, Level 20.29, Elite Level, Level 30.39, Occupational Level, Level 40.49, Dominant Level, Level 50.59, Master Level, Level 60, Half-Step Heavenly King, 61.69 levels, Heavenly King Level, Level 70, Half-Step Champion, 71.79 levels, Champion Level, Level 80.89, Master Level. As for the later levels, no one has reached them, so there is no specific distinction between levels and names. Some people spend their entire lives unable to train Pok É Mon to a professional level, partly due to their own qualifications. The three families of Qi have no such troubles at all. As long as they are carefully trained, they will definitely reach the professional level. As long as you have a professional level Pok É Mon, you can serve as a captain level character in the local city, such as the captain of a police station brigade, which is a more important position. Of course, the captain of the security team doesn't need a professional level Pok É Mon anymore, just need your strength to be the strongest among this group of people, that's all. In addition, some Pok É Mon companies will also hire powerful trainers to collaborate and use the title of professional trainers to launch a series of Pok É Mon products. It can be imagined how scarce professional level is, which is also the reason why many people have been chasing after the three houses. I really envy you, Qi Bai. You already have your own Pok É Mon at a young age, and even the Yusan family doesn't know what my Pok É Mon will be. Zhou Yuan looked envious. In his opinion, the Bulbasaur seed was prepared for Qi Bai at first glance. According to his parents' instructions for good cultivation, he will definitely become a professional level trainer in the future, and may even become a Taoist level trainer like his father. And his family doesn't have money, and his parents don't have the power and influence like Qi Bai. The amount of Pok É Mon he can get in the future is limited, probably just walking grass, Lada. Or it could be something like the Carp King. Relax, there are plenty of Pok É Mon in the wild. As long as we have Pok É Mon and train them well, we will eventually obtain a well-qualified Pok É Mon. Qi Bai couldn't help but feel relieved as he saw Zhou Yuan's worries and confusion about his future life, as well as the envy he showed. That's right. Isn't there a beautiful flower evolved from a walking grass in the grass Heavenly King? I can definitely do it too, Zhou Yuan burst into a confident smile. Can be done in the next second. The walking grass can only evolve into the stinky flower at level 21. There are two ways for the stinky flower to evolve. The first is to use the leaf stone to evolve into the overlord flower, and the second is to use the sun stone to evolve into the beautiful flower. Qi Bai's voice rang out again, successfully breaking Zhou Yuan's fantasy. Qi Bai, can't you stop hitting me? I've already regained my confidence. Zhou Yuan looked at Qi Bai with a mournful expression, as if he had done something speechless. Qi Bai also realized something and awkwardly waved his hand, saying, haha, it's okay. Maybe you can't even evolve the stinky flower, let alone talk about the sun stone or the leaf stone. This sentence completely overturned the already unstable small boat between the two. Both the leaf stone and the sun stone are extremely precious elf materials, and a leaf stone can even be sold for 2 million on the market. Like a medium-sized elf pet egg. For families like Zhou Yuan, it's already great to be able to spend a few tens of thousands of yuan to purchase an ordinary Pok É Mon for him, not to mention 2 million yuan, not even 100,000 yuan. Qi Bai, can I go to your house and play with Ibu? A gentle and slightly shy voice came from somewhere in the classroom. Turning her head, she saw a tall girl with straight black hair and a simple short skirt, shyly teasing her long hair. Okay, Qingyun, if Ibrahimovic knew you were here, he would definitely be very happy. Ibrahimovic, an evolutionary Pok É Mon with general attributes, may evolve in various ways due to genetic instability. Currently, only 3 types of evolution have been discovered. Using the Stone of Thunder, Stone of Water, and Stone of Fire, they can evolve into Leibu, Shuobu, and Huobu, respectively. So the 3 of them agreed to go together to the Fire Taoist Hall in Nanyang City. Nanyang Daoguan. Iwu Iwu. A light brown creature with petal-shaped white fur hanging around its neck, dark pupils, and a loving tail pattern resembling the figure of a fox. After seeing Qi Bai, it slowly ran over and obediently sat on the ground. Ibrahimovic belongs to an extremely rare Pok É Mon, and the pattern on its tail shows love, indicating that this Ibrahimovic is female. So cute, Ibu. It's been a long time since we last saw each other. Do you remember me? Su Qingyun immediately ran over and reached out to hug Ibu as soon as he saw her sitting in front of her. Iwu. Ibu smiled happily and ran around Su Qingyun, waiting for 2 rounds before running to Qi Bai. Qi Bai also felt that Ibrahimovic was too cute, so he couldn't help but reach out a few times before giving up. Ibrahimovic, thank you for coming to the door to pick us up. Are your parents at home? Ibrahimovic shook his head at the sight. Later, Zhou Yuan also ran over with a joyful expression on his face and extended his hands, saying, Ibu, come to my brother's arms and hug him. Ibrahimovic dodged in fear. Don't be afraid, I don't know how to eat people. Ibrahimovic became even more afraid and dug a hole in the ground, escaping directly to Su Qingyun's side. This disdainful action directly made Zhou Yuan feel depressed and complicated. Zhou Yuan, don't be sad. Ibu is just a bit timid. If you come a few more times, she will get to know you. Qi Bai comforted him, that's right. It's not the first time Zhou Yuan has been rejected by Ibu. Ibu didn't refuse Zhou Yuan's invitation for the first time, and the 2 successfully hugged each other. But Zhou Yuan didn't know if he was too moved or if he had a cold, and his nose flowed down like this, dripping onto Ibu's fur. From then on, Ibu refused to stick to this guy who dirted himself. Although Qi Bai was comforting, he was thinking in his heart that Ibrahimovic has had a psychological shadow in his life. How could he let you hold him? It would be good if he didn't play the shadow ball. Ibrahimovic has a relatively gentle personality. If he were a hot monkey, he would probably hit Zhou Yuan once. Qi Bai and his guests began to visit his own Taoist temple. Every city has a Taoist temple, and the owner of the temple means having a Taoist-level Pok É Mon. It's a coal turtle, why haven't you seen it last time? Is it your dad's newly acquired Pok É Mon? Zhou Yuan exclaimed when he saw a simulated volcano not far away. Qi Bai shook his head and said, no, this is the Pok É Mon fostered by my father's second apprentice. I heard he was recently training Rocket Sparrow to sprint towards a professional trainer, but he didn't have time to manage coal turtles, so he sent them back. Upon hearing that he was sprinting towards the professional level, Zhou Yuan took a deep breath and said, it seems that your father's second apprentice is in his senior year at Kyoto University, right? That's right. Surprisingly, I'm about to sprint for a professional trainer so soon. Chapter 3, Second Pok É Mon. You are listening at novelfull.audio. There are still 2 months left before the college championship, but the team that enters Beijing needs at least 1 professional-level Pok É Mon. Rocket Sparrow is already level 29, and just 1 step away from the door is enough to become a professional-level Pok É Mon. Qi Bai said, recalling his father's second apprentice, the stubborn child who fights with his father every day, and now he doesn't know what he has grown into. Since going to Kyoto University to study, I haven't come back, I just contacted my parents on the phone. Professional level. I envy you so much. I never know if I can reach professional level in my life. Your father's apprentice is only preparing to become a professional level trainer in his senior year. Zhou Yuan looked envious, but his heart was filled with bitterness. Qi Bai also realized Zhou Yuan's low mood these days. No wonder he was born into a family where his parents couldn't give him anything, and he was full of confusion about the future. Everyone wants to become a powerful trainer, but he seems to be able to see the end at a glance. For his good brother, Qi Bai naturally cannot stand idly by and secretly made up his mind to help Zhou Yuan in the future. As long as you work hard to learn the knowledge of Pok É Mon, career level is definitely not difficult for you. I'm still waiting to compete with you, don't give up before you start. Upon hearing this, Zhou Yuan's heart suddenly surged with inexplicable confidence. He looked at Qi Bai seriously and said, I won't give up, Qi Bai. When I have a Pok É Mon, let's duel. Okay. The fists of the two collided, and the young man's eyes were filled with infinite imagination for the future. Su Qingyun also hugged Ibu and said, don't leave me behind. When I have Pok É Mon, I will also fight with you. That settled, the three of us must have a real Pok É Mon battle after we get Pok É Mon. Qi Bai looked at the two people in front of him and couldn't help but laugh. Is this a friend? In his past life, he was an otaku. Apart from watching videos and playing games every day, he had no social interaction, so friends were a rare word for him. Therefore, in this life, he must cherish the friendship between the three of them. Next, they visited the battlefield of the dojo together and saw several fire-type Pok É Mon, such as the fire camel and lava worm, as well as the Bulbasaur seed. Seed. The Bulbasaur frog seed is light blue all over, carrying a huge flower bud on its back. It is a bit small in size and looks like it has just hatched. Did you have a good day, Bulbasaur? Qi Bai crouched down and touched Bulbasaur's head. Meow frog seed is indeed a Pok É Mon specially left by his parents, and can be considered his companion. After only 2 months, he will register as a trainer and officially accept Meow frog seed. Bulbasaur seed, so cute. Su Qingyun immediately put down Ibu and quickly crouched down to touch Bulbasaur seed. It was her first time seeing Bulbasaur seed, so she looked particularly excited. Meow frog seed was about to use a cane whip to stop the attack when he saw the situation, but was stopped by Qi Bai. Meow frog seed, these are my friends. Her name is Su Qingyun, you can't be impolite. Qi Bai introduced the girl next to her and then reminded Meow frog seed. Bulbasaur understood and let out a cry. Seed. Su Qingyun asked Qi Bai with some fear, can I touch the Bulbasaur frog seed? Sure, Zhou Yuan, you can come over too. As soon as she heard it, Su Qingyun's face immediately showed a joyful expression, and she extended a slender jade hand slowly attaching the head of the Bulbasaur frog seed. Upon hearing what Qi Bai said, Zhou Yuan ran over excitedly, and their love for Pok É Mon was no less than Qi Bai's. At this moment, a few playful voices came from outside the battlefield door. Upon hearing this, Qi Bai immediately recognized that it was his father's voice. Upon hearing the sound, he saw 2 middle-aged men standing at the head, one of whom was Qi Hengsheng. Dad! Qi Bai called out and immediately attracted the 2 middle-aged men who were chatting and laughing, as well as Zhou Yuan and Su Qingyun who were masturbating Bulbasaur seeds. Lao Qi, is this your son? He's so old, he only reached my waist last time. Time is really amazing. Another middle-aged man smiled and gestured, then his gaze fell on Qi Bai again. Qi Bai also looked at the middle-aged man in front of him. An orange-red shirt, boots on the legs, jeans on the lower body, this outfit. Looking at that somewhat familiar face again, it's confirmed. Hello Uncle Zhang, Qi Bai said obediently. Do you know me? Zhang Yunlei looked curiously at Qi Bai, then turned to look at Qi Hengsheng. You told him I was coming. No, you didn't even tell me you were coming, how could I tell my son? Qi Hengsheng was also curious. He clearly didn't tell his son that Zhang Yunlei would come, so how could his son call out his surname as soon as he spoke? My dad told me that he has a good friend who always wears boots, jeans, and a shirt. Plus, I've seen some photos you took when you were young before, so that's when I confirmed. The two of them looked at each other and then laughed heartily. Ha ha ha, Lao Qi, your son is quite smart. I like him. He's about to have a Pok É Mon at this age, right? Why, have you figured out what the first priority is? Uncle Zhang will see if he can get you one. Zhang Yunlei looked in a good mood and directly asked Qi Bai what Pok É Mon he wanted, and he would do his best to satisfy him. Qi Bai shook his head and a wonderful frog seed jumped out from behind him. My first Pok É Mon has already decided to be the Bulbasaur seed. Seed. Zhang Yunlei exclaimed in surprise when he saw that it was actually the third royal family. It's actually the Bulbasaur seed. Lao Qi, you've invested a lot of money. No, it was Euro's good luck that hatched from a Pok É Mon egg exchanged for points in the Cultivators Association. We were originally thinking about what Pok É Mon to prepare, but this just solved our troubles. Qi Hengsheng smiled and shook his head, and his son's big matter was easily solved. They were not even so happy. Indeed, the three royal families are the best choice for newcomers, with high qualifications and not too difficult to cultivate. Zhang Yunlei nodded and then, as if thinking of something, took out an elf ball from his belt that he carried with him. Since the first one is only grass, let's see if the second one likes it. Come out, big-jawed ant. The big-jawed ant, a ground type, has the power to bite rocks with its large jaws. Especially when evolving into ultrasonic larvae, those with single attributes will become double attributes, adding an additional dragon lineage. Chapter 4. Scorpio King vs Spitfire Dragon. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Big Jaw Ants. Zhou Yuan and Su Qinyun were shocked to see from behind that this was an extremely rare Pok É Mon. In Nanyang City, they had never seen anyone with a large-jawed ant. Especially when it evolves into ultrasonic larvae, that's the dragon lineage. Looking at the big-jawed ant in front of him, Qi Bai was momentarily stunned. How about it, do you like it or not? Liking is liking, but the big-jawed ant is too valuable. Later, Qi Bai couldn't help but cast his seeking gaze on his own father. Qi Hengsheng walked over and glanced at the big-jawed ant with a strange expression. Lao Zhang, where's that kid from your family? This big-jawed ant has good qualifications at first glance, why don't you? Before I could finish speaking, Zhang Yunlei interrupted. When I was traveling in the Sahara Desert, I discovered a colony of big-jaw ants and found a few that were left alone. I then easily subdued 3 well-qualified big-jaw ants, which were originally prepared for your little boy. Upon hearing this, Qi Hengsheng breathed a sigh of relief. Since that's the case, then let's accept it. Thank you, Uncle Zhang. I will definitely cultivate the great-jawed ant well in the future. Qi Bai suddenly felt overjoyed, knowing that the evolved ultrasonic larvae of the great-jawed ant can fly, and if they encounter danger in the future, they can be carried away by the ultrasonic larvae. He had originally wanted to tame a flying Pok É Mon, but Zhang Yunlei was pleasantly surprised by the arrival of the big-jawed ant he sent, which made him feel much more friendly when he saw Zhang Yunlei. It's okay, it's okay. Your father and I are brothers who go through life and death in the wilderness, just a Pok É Mon. Watching Qi Bai even have his second Pok É Mon, Zhou Wen's heart suddenly became unbalanced. He was not even sure about the first one, while Qi Bai's 2 Pok É Mon were only from the Imperial third family and the evolved great-jawed ant, which could possess dragon attributes. I didn't do anything wrong, why is the gap so big? This idea constantly surrounds his mind. It's okay, it's okay. My parents spend some money to buy a regular Pok É Mon, and I'll train well. I'll get whatever I want. The child at this age began to have his own ideas, but fortunately, Qi Bai kept encouraging him and giving him confidence. Maybe Zhou Yuan might collapse completely because of this. Su Qingyun doesn't feel much about it. Her family is relatively good, with her father being an elite trainer and her mother being an apprentice in the training family, both earning decent salaries. Her Pok É Mon father had already prepared it for him. It was a cute Pok É Mon unexpectedly discovered during an exploration trip, which made Su's father immediately feel the desire to take it and give it to his daughter. Although my mother is only an apprentice in nurturing the family, she also has some experience in nurturing Pok É Mon, and I am not very worried about it. Like Zhou Yuan, there are many who cannot compete with their parents, and Zhou Yuan is just a microcosm of the children in millions of families. Alright, Lao Qi, let's start. Let me see where your Pok É Mon have all grown. Suddenly, Zhang Yunlei burst out laughing and walked towards the battlefield. Exactly. Qi Hengsheng also smiled, as if eagerly anticipating the battle before him. The three of them went straight to the stands and looked at Zhang Yunlei and Qi Hengsheng, who were standing at both ends of the battlefield in front of them. What's the origin of this Uncle Zhang? He wants to fight against your father. Zhou Yuan asked Qi Bai next to him with a shocked expression of doubt. Qi Hengsheng is a Taoist level trainer and he knows it. The Uncle Zhang, in front of him actually wants to fight against such a person. Isn't it? He has an idea, shouldn't he? That's right, my dad told me that Uncle Zhang is also a Taoist level trainer. Upon hearing the answer, Zhou Yuan and Su Qingyun took a deep breath together. Daoguan level trainer. That means they are currently watching two Taoist level trainers battle. Now Su Qingyun became serious and stared at the two people on the battlefield, not daring to take a step away. After all, the battles of Daoguan level trainers are not easy to see, even on TV, there is something missing. Only by watching on site can one experience more things. Even Zhou Yuan, who usually has no interest in learning, became serious. Lao Qi, the three little ones are all watching us. Don't lose, otherwise your old face will be ruined, joked Zhang Yunlei. When did you win against me? Qi Hengsheng's direct words reminded Zhang Yunlei of several previous showdowns. I'll show you today. Come out, Scorpio King. Zhang Yunlei took a red and white Pok É Mon ball from his waist and threw it towards the battlefield. Suddenly, a white light rushed out of the ball. Ha ha ha. A Scorpio King was just about to hide on the ground, using its tail to press against the ground, revealing a simple and honest smile. What is the attribute of Scorpio King? Zhou Yuan casually asked. The combination of ground and flight evolved from Scorpio. Su Qingyun was obviously a top student, and the first thing he saw reminded him of information about Scorpio King. Well, I hope this scorpion's characteristic is not poison therapy, otherwise this battle will be difficult to fight. Qi Bai's eyes showed a hint of solemnity. Why? Zhou Yuan didn't understand. The hidden characteristic of Scorpio King's poison therapy is that when it becomes poisoned, HP does not decrease, but instead increases. Seeing that Zhou Yuan still couldn't understand, Qi Bai asked, if your opponent's Pok É Mon could recover 1/8 of their health every turn, how difficult would it be to fight? After listening, Zhou Yuan said, then find a way to instantly kill it. If there are doubles in its skill pool, defend them, and they will be highly poisonous. Zhou Yuan seems to understand something, isn't this just a way of dragging people to death? Su Qingyun never expected that there would be such a rogue gameplay, which made her worried about Qi Bai's father. After all, she is a Taoist trainer in Nanyang City, representing the face of Nanyang City. Coupled with being Qi Bai's father, she naturally hopes that Qi Hengsheng can win. Go, Spitfire Dragon. A dragon-like creature roared towards the sky, looking very irritable. Spitfire Dragon, long time no see, it looks even stronger. Zhang Yunlei looked at the color and mental state of the Spitfire Dragon and judged that it had been cultivated very well. Spitfire Dragon, use jet flames. Qi Hengsheng took the initiative to command the Spitfire Dragon to use his skills. The Spitfire Dragon looked at the Scorpio King in front of it, opened its big mouth, and spewed out a flame that looked extremely terrifying. Scorpio King, quickly dodge. Luola luola. The Scorpio King quickly flew up in the wind, spraying flames several times but almost hit, but he always brushed past and dodged. How impressive. Zhou Yuan couldn't help but sigh when he saw the speed of the Scorpio King. Splashing sand. The Scorpio King stopped hiding and flew to the ground, scooping up the sand from the battlefield with his tail and throwing it at the flames. Exciting. Scorpio King, earthquake. Spitfire Dragon, use hot air after flying. Chapter 5. The end of the battle. You are listening at novel full.audio. The earthquake skill is useless for the flying Pok É Mon, but the hot wind has a 90% chance of hitting it. Suddenly, the Scorpio King, who was exposed to the hot wind, flew backwards in succession. Seeing the great situation on the field, Qi Bai felt a little relieved. The ground type can counter the fire type, and his father did not have the upper hand in attribute restraint. If hit by ground-based skills, the chances of winning are very slim. Scorpio King, poison strike. Sure enough. Qi Bai's heart suddenly shook. Did he finally come? Every person who can become a Taoist level trainer is not someone who can be underestimated. Here we go again, it's really a tricky existence. Since that's the case, then let's use the flame dragon and flame teeth. The Scorpion King's poison fell on the body of the fire-breathing dragon, and the fire teeth of the fire-breathing dragon successfully bit the Scorpion King's wings. The Spitfire dragon was emitting venom all over its body, and its state was slowly declining bit by bit. This is a symptom of poisoning. Once in a poison state, one should find opportunities to quickly resolve the battle, otherwise the longer one stays, the easier it is to be poisoned to death. What should we do? Qi Bai, your father's Spitfire dragon is poisoned. According to what you just said, it is estimated that Zhang Yunlei will use a stunt double and hold on for a long time. Qi Bai's face showed no signs of worry, but he said lightly, look at the Scorpio King. The two of them looked at the Scorpio King again. The Scorpio King had a painful expression on his face, and it was obvious that he had also been injured by the flame tooth. It's in a burning state. Pok É Mon, trapped in a burning state, will lose half of their health and physical attack per turn. It is far inferior to the loss of blood caused by poisoning. Great, both of them will lose blood if they continue to drag on like this, Zhou Yuandao said. No, did you forget? I just mentioned that if this Scorpio King's characteristic is poison therapy. And if it's in a poison state, you can regain health. But it's in a burning state, isn't it? So. What if Uncle Zhang brought a highly poisonous gem to the Scorpion King? Rubbing poison. A highly toxic gem is a magical gem that releases poison upon contact. When carried, it will become highly toxic during battles. So immediately, the scorching state on the Scorpio King's body disappeared, because he had already carried a highly toxic gem on his body, and his state was highly toxic. There can only be one type of burning state and highly toxic state, and from the beginning, Scorpio King was in a highly toxic state, so the burning state was only a fleeting moment and was covered by the highly toxic state. Spitfire Dragon, use Flame Fist. Although the Spitfire Dragon was covered in venom, upon hearing the trainer's words, it stood up and condensed flames in its hands, charging straight towards the Scorpio King. Hold on. Sure enough, are you starting to procrastinate? Qi Hengsheng's eyes flickered as the substitute for the Scorpio King was still useless, so it could at least hold on for a little longer. Holding on for the second time can also sustain it once, which means that no matter what skill his Spitfire Dragon uses, this Scorpio King can sustain it until the Spitfire Dragon falls. Spitfire Dragon, use Spitfire Flame again. Scorpio King didn't hold on to the bet this time and used a substitute instead. Over these 2 rounds, the Scorpion King has recovered from the hot wind damage by 70.88%. Huh, Lao Qi, you're finally going to lose, right? Zhang Yunlei put his hands on his back and looked like he had a chance to win. Zhou Yuan, Su Qingyun, and Qi Bai were all torn up by this scene and worried about whether Qi Hengsheng could win. Lao Zhang, are you too anxious? The battle has just begun. Spitfire Dragon, use your sleeping skill. Sleep, restore all your health and heal all negative effects. The Spitfire Dragon supported its head with one hand and fell asleep in the field. Lao Qi, since that's the case, don't blame me for being impolite. Scorpio King, use the secret attack key. This blow is aimed at killing the Spitfire Dragon in a flash. All three people's hearts were raised to their throats. Ha, I'm going to win, Lao Qi. At the moment when the Scorpio King was about to strike the crucial point, Qi Hengsheng raised his lips slightly and said, Spitfire Dragon, Dream Talk. Dream Talk. Use any move you have learned and can only be used while sleeping. I saw the Spitfire Dragon strike and split open, directly plunging the Scorpion King underground. This sudden situation stunned Zhang Yunlei for a moment, and then he waited for the smoke to dissipate before seeing the situation of the Scorpio King. At this moment, the Scorpio King has already lost his combat ability with Venus shining in his eyes. Oh yeah. It's so exciting. Zhou Yuan's passion was ignited. Master Qi is so impressive. He first used a jet flame to deceive the Scorpion King's stunt double, then used sleep to lure the Scorpion King into action, and finally bet a hand on a dream talk to directly win the battle. Su Qingyun was not only excited, but just now she witnessed a truly thrilling Pok É Mon battle with her own eyes, which was different from what she had seen before. Real tactics and the bond with Pok É Mon were indispensable factors for victory. Zhang Yunlei also sighed and said, it seems you still won. Qi Hengsheng's mood was also extremely good after winning the game. No, I also have a gambling element in it. If the person who gambled still slept, then I wouldn't have lost. But Zhang Yunlei waved his hand and said, losing means losing, there's nothing to worry about. Qi Hengsheng said, so, has the second Taoist level Pok É Mon been trained yet? Has your duck-billed fire beast advanced to the Daoguan level? Zhang Yunlei showed a surprised expression. Just recently broke through, so ask if your hippopotamus beast has broken through, otherwise we can have a fight. No, my hippopotamus beast can only reach level 48, and it will probably take another year and a half to break through. The more Zhang Yunlei looked at it, the more he felt that Qi Hengsheng was afraid he was here to show off. You have your second Taoist level Pok É Mon now, should your points have increased significantly. This is the preferential treatment given by the Xia Kingdom Elf Alliance to these Taoist level trainers. As long as one Pok É Mon reaches the Taoist level, it can earn 10,000 points, and the points can be exchanged for anything you want. Even quasi-gods. The exorbitant 1 million points of Kujuanshan cannot be redeemed by anyone. However, at least 10,000 points can be exchanged for 1 Yusanjia, and the price of 1 Yusanjia in the market can reach up to 10 million Chinese coins. It can be imagined how many 10,000 points there are. Of course, only trainers who have joined the Elf Alliance can enjoy such treatment. Otherwise, it would be chaotic if just a casual person outside. There are not only elf alliances in this world, some insane organizations even use elf bodies for experiments, and even for transformations. Therefore, the Elf Alliance conducts a thorough investigation of every dojo trainer, from family to birth to school, with dedicated personnel investigating every step. Even little elves will hypnotize you to see if you are an insider planted by another organization in the Xia Kingdom Elf Alliance. Chapter 6. Hazards. You are listening at novelfull.audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text. Chapter 7. Fossil Pterosaur. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lai Jian-K is Qi Hengsheng's Pok É Mon, usually staying in the Taoist temple to watch, in order to prevent anyone from stealing the Pok É Mon from the temple. Come out, big-billed sparrow. Come out, big Wang Yen. 2 flying Pok É Mon were summoned by them. The big-billed sparrow uses its call. The Great King Yenyong Bird's special attack. The big-mouthed sparrow let out a scream, reducing the attack of the fierce arrow eagle. However, at the professional level, it was at the professional level. Faced with these elite Pok É Mon, there were many moves. The Great King Yen was surrounded by blue light, accelerating towards the flame arrow eagle. The big-billed sparrow uses the swallow to return. Qi Bai couldn't help but think to himself, I'm planning to join forces with 2 people. Since that's the case, fierce arrow eagle, acrobatics. The fierce arrow eagle kept circling towards the sky, waiting for the moment when the 2 Pok É Mon in front of it were about to attack it. However, in an instant, it disappeared in place and headed straight towards the helicopter above. Sure enough. Undoubtedly, my dad's Pok É Mon are smart. Qi Bai thought to himself. Knowing that fighting is meaningless, the most important thing is to save them first. But at this point, the net has been received less than 10 meters away from the helicopter, which is still constantly soaring upwards into the air. We can't continue to drag on any longer. There's news coming from Xiao Xiao's side, and Qi Hengsheng is rushing towards this side. Just as they were discussing the need to act quickly, the flame arrow eagle had already flown up and launched a precise acrobatic attack on the wing of the helicopter. Bang! What's going on? I saw the helicopter emitting black smoke, and the helicopter kept spinning, making them all anxious and spinning around. Hurry up, release the flying Pok É Mon. We can't stay on the plane anymore. So he forced himself to release several big-billed sparrows. When they finally boarded the big-billed sparrow one by one, the fierce arrow eagle had already cut open the silk mesh and rescued Qi Bai and Meow frog seed. Flame arrow eagle, save us quickly. The net was cut open, and they had no place to rest, so Qi Bai held the Bulbasaur frog seed and fell in an unknown direction. But soon, they fell out of the sight of the flame arrow eagle, and Qi Bai and Meow frog seed thought they were going to die like this. Meow frog seed, I'm sorry, we're all going to die before everyone can see the scene of you becoming stronger, Qi Bai sighed while holding Meow frog seed. Seed. Both of them closed their eyes and fell too fast in the air, afraid to open their eyes. Dang dang. Ah. Qi Bai opened his eyes to the pain emanating from his buttocks, only to see a scene that made him despair. Fossil pterosaur. The fossil pterosaur was originally struggling to fly with its injuries in the air, but when it fell from a high altitude by Qi Bai and Meow frog seed, it couldn't withstand its weight and kept falling downwards. Fossil pterosaur, cheer up and fly. Anyway, fossil pterosaur is currently holding on to the lives of the 3 of them. The fossil pterosaur let out a whimper and thought to himself, damn human, if it weren't for you, how could I not have flown at all? He had just been seriously injured and could barely support himself to fly alone, but was hit by 2 unwelcome guests. Now even the strength to drive them down is gone. He was stunned as he watched the approaching ground. Did you just die like this? He remembered his life, which turned into a fossil after death and stayed underground for millions of years. However, when he woke up, he found himself inside a huge machine. Opening the machine, several humans in white coats stood outside. It's a fossil pterosaur. It's actually this Pok É Mon. Dad, he's so handsome, I want to tame him. A human who appeared to be only 16 or 17 years old attempted to subdue him, and he laughed at the time. Okay, son, let's see if the father takes action. As a result, the middle-aged man pulled out a ball and released a water arrow turtle at the level of a Taoist temple, beating him to half-death. He rose up in rebellion, fought for serious injuries before severely injuring the water arrow turtle, and finally managed to escape through the cover of dust and smoke. He didn't die in battle with other Pok É Mon, he died sitting down and falling to death by a human. No, absolutely not. His dragon life cannot end like this. He must make those humans suffer the punishment they deserve. It's over. I thought I was saved, but in the end, I had to die. Qi Bai hugged the Bulbasaur and began to bless the heavens. Looking at the ground within reach, he couldn't help but close his eyes. Dad, Mom, I'm sorry, I can't be filial to you in the future. After he finished speaking these words, he waited for a while and didn't see himself fall to death, so he slowly opened his eyes. I saw the fossil pterosaur spreading its wings and flying hard near the ground, which prevented all three of them from falling to death. But the fossil pterosaur was originally seriously injured, and now it is putting in all its strength. In the end, it couldn't fly and fell to the ground with a thud, half dead. Qi Bai jumped off the back of the fossil pterosaur holding the Bulbasaur frog seed and carefully glanced at the dying fossil pterosaur with its eyes closed. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the achievement of Escape from Death, obtaining 10 super healing pills, Inside Eye, which can view any information about Pok É Mon, 1 characteristic capsule, and 2 experience candies. Qi Bai. Is this a system? Sure enough, what he should have thought of earlier was that as a navigator, how could it function without a system? What is a super injury medicine? Seeing the last 2 words, Qi Bai speculated that it should be a medication for treating the injuries of Pokemon. So he reached out and clicked on the virtual screen in front of him, and a blue medicine bottle appeared in his hand. At least the fossil pterosaur can be considered as their lifesaver, and they must find a way to save it. Holding the blue medicine bottle, he turned to look at the fossil pterosaur. Pokemon name. Fossil Pterodactyl, level. LV45, Overlord level, attribute. Rock flying characteristic. Hard head gender. Male status. Near death, only 1% of strength remaining, qualification. Heavenly King level, is this the Eye of Insight? It's really a convenient thing, Qi Bai calmly continued to read. I only have 1% of my strength left, and I'm really seriously injured. After squatting down, Qi Bai made a mistake, not sure if this and the wound medicine were applied externally or taken internally. Anyway, let's just drink it in. Continuing to entangle, I'm afraid the fossil pterosaur will have died long ago. After finally breaking open the mouth of the fossil pterosaur and pouring the wound medicine into it, Qi Bai finally looked at the surrounding environment. This is the wilderness, isn't it? It's probably due to the powerful influence of fossil pterosaurs, otherwise they might have been attacked by Pok É Mon in the wilderness long ago. Experience candy in characteristic capsules. As the name suggests, he was not a fool and naturally guessed the usage of these 2. So he summoned the Bulbasaur frog seed. Pok É Mon name. Bulbasaur seed, level. LV6 attribute. Grass type poison type characteristic. Chlorophyll gender. Male status. Good qualification. Overlord level. Chapter 8. Meow and Meow Tribe. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Bulbasaur, here's a candy for you. Bulbasaur tilted its head and didn't know what sugar was. Qi Bai clicked on the experience candy on the screen, and a colorful candy appeared in his palm. Peel off the sugar paper and throw the sugar into the mouth of Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur only licked it a little, and his face immediately showed joy. Enjoying the taste of experience candy with relish and closed eyes. It seems that the experience candy fits the taste of Bulbasaur very well. Qi Bai saw Bulbasaur eating happily and felt relieved. Then, with his insight, he examined the various properties of Bulbasaur again. Pok É Mon name. Bulbasaur seed, level. LV11 attribute. Grass type poison type characteristic. Chlorophyll gender. Male status. Good qualification. Overlord level, damn it. Qi Bai knew that the level of Bulbasaur would increase, but he never expected that just an experience candy would increase it by 5 levels. If you take another one, wouldn't it be possible to reach level 16? In this dangerous wilderness, there is also a fossil pterosaur in its 40s next to it, and it must strive to improve its strength as much as possible. So the second experience candy was also fed to Bulbasaur, but this time the experience candy did not raise Bulbasaur's level to level 16, but could reach level 15. This made Qi Bai understand that experience candy will weaken as Pok É Mon level increases. 15 levels is enough, I can't stay here all the time. If this fossil pterosaur wakes up and wants to trouble me, I'll be dead. Although Qi Bai saved this fossil pterosaur, it's hard to guarantee that he won't take action against him. This is a Pok É Mon from the wild. It's still at the top level, it's better to leave as soon as possible. Qi Bai waited for a while and then glanced at the state of the fossil pterosaur. It had changed from near death to serious injury, and its strength had also recovered by 5%. It seemed that the blue healing potion had taken effect. But at this moment, a Meow licked its paw and looked towards this side, using its paw without saying a word. Meow Frog Seed, use a cane whip towards Meow Meow. Qi Bai immediately issued an order upon seeing this. Seed. 2 tentacle-like rattan whips rose from both sides of the Bulbasaur seed bud and walked towards meowing with a whistling sound. Meow. Meow Meow was directly whipped out by a rattan whip and fell to the ground, dust flying. However, Meow Meow immediately stood up, landing on all 4 feet with a fierce gaze. It was obvious that Bulbasaur had offended it. Since that's the case, Meow Frog Seed, Fei Yi Kuai Dao. Qi Bai knew that this cat had already harbored resentment towards them, so this battle had to be fought. Since that's the case, it's better to let Meow Frog Seed take the lead. Seed Seed. The Bulbasaur Frog Seed curled up and then bloomed, and the blade of the flying leaf blade quickly attacked the Meow Meow. Meow Meow couldn't help but dodge backwards, but accidentally got injured by the blade of the flying leaf blade. Great, Bulbasaur. I didn't expect the first battle with Bulbasaur to be so smooth. Seed Seed. Bulbasaur also smiled and invited Qi Bai for credit. But at this moment, Meow Meow condensed many small coins and threw them crazily towards Bulbasaur. The speed was too fast, causing Bulbasaur to dodge in time and then being overwhelmed by the surging coins. Qi Bai was surprised and said, Meow Frog Seed, are you okay? If he had known he shouldn't have been so careless, the Meow Meow on the other side had not yet lost his combat ability, but had just taken the upper hand and became complacent. It seems that he is not yet a qualified trainer. Fortunately, Bulbasaur was only attacked by a treasure attack and was not seriously injured. However, as a Pok É Mon from the wild, Meow Meow had a strong fighting consciousness. When Bulbasaur finally stood firm, a catch had already arrived. There's nothing we can do, Bulbasaur and it re-fighting, colliding. Upon hearing Qi Bai's command, Bulbasaur immediately ran towards Meow with all 4 legs, and the 2 Pok É Mon were quickly approaching each other. Bang! Seed! Meow! Both Pok É Mon are nearing their limits due to the accumulation of damage they have received. The next move is about to determine the winner. Parasitic Seeds. After planting parasitic seeds, you will draw a little health from the opponent's Pok É Mon every turn, and it can also be used to restore your own HP. This move is over, and Meow Meow has fallen to the ground and cannot stand up, while Bulbasaur Frog Seed has regained some state due to parasitic seeds, which seems to be no big deal. Unfortunately, I don't have a Pok É Mon ball, otherwise I could sell this Meow to the league. The league will have dedicated trainers to train it, and then sell it to the trainers who need it, fighting side by side. This Meow has a level of 12. Who wouldn't love 30,000 Chinese coins? As for whether capturing Pok É Mon would be illegal. There are too many humans, and the Pok É Mon nurtured by the Alliance alone are not enough to supply most people. The wilderness is also dangerous, so it's better to let those capable people capture Pok É Mon and the Alliance pay to acquire them to achieve a balance. Capturing Pok É Mon on a large scale is not realistic at all, and there are also Pok É Mon at the levels of Taoist, Heavenly King, and Champion in the wild. If discovered, they will die. Only those who use Pok É Mon's body for experiments can be considered to have touched the bottom line of the Xiao League. Qi Bai is not averse to buying and selling Pok É Mon. If it weren't for this, where would everyone's Pok É Mon come from? Even if you go out to catch in the wild, isn't it the same nature of catching? After a while, the Meow was still lying on the ground. Although it remained motionless, Qi Bai knew that it had not died, but had been injured too severely and had not yet recovered. Let's go, Bulbasaur. Qi Bai glanced at the fossil pterosaur, whose strength had recovered to 15%, and quickly urged Bulbasaur to leave to avoid the big guy in front of him suddenly waking up. However, pairs of red eyes around him lit up in the darkness, which made Qi Bai's whole body goosebumps. Meow. Meow frog seed. We seem to be surrounded. Qi Bai struggled to swallow a mouthful of water and said. Meow frog seed also became alert, and there was clearly something wrong around him. He felt two breath that was no weaker than his. Bulbasaur seeds, bark, drive them out. Qi Bai knew that these wild Pok É Mon might have already targeted them, so he had to stack various buffs first. Bulbasaur nodded and then a scream forced out the nearby Pok É Mon. Sure enough, it's a group of cats. Qi Bai muttered to himself that something was wrong. Pok É Mon name. Meow Meow, level. LV11 attribute. General series features. Picking gender. Male status. Good qualification. Ordinary level. This is just the lowest level of a Meow, and Qi Bai looked at the cat boss next to it with insight. Chapter 9. Salvation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Pok É Mon name. Cat boss, level. LV28 attribute. General series features. Technical experts gender. Male status. Good qualification. Professional level elite level. When Qi Bai saw the level of this Pok É Mon, the word immediately came to his mind. It's over, it's really dangerous in the wilderness. I didn't even leave when I ran into a group of cats and a cat boss who was about to enter the professional level. It's really over. The fossil pterosaur opened a slight gap, and the fragmented thoughts of the humans in front of him woke him up. But when he saw that the human who had caused him to die still refused to let him live after his death, he became angry. Sitting him to death and disturbing his purity in his ears after death is too much. It's not in the style of this dragon not to ruin him. Immediately, he sensed that his body, a wave of energy from the flying and rock systems, was slowly recovering, and even his injuries were slowly recovering. This made him doubt for a moment whether he was not dead. It's still like this after death, but I haven't felt this way even after dying once before. Watching a group of cats around, under the signal of the cat boss, they used to scratch towards the Bulbasaur frog seed together. Bulbasaur frog seed, continuously wielding the flying leaf blade. Seed. The Bulbasaur tried hard, and countless leaves flew out and smashed towards these cats. Meow meow. Meow. Meow meow. These cats are generally around level 10, so they are not opponents of Bulbasaur. With just a flying blade, they all fall to the ground in disarray. Qi Bai's face did not show any joy, but instead had a heavy expression because he knew there was still a cat boss who had not taken action. If it were to take action, the two of them would definitely die miserably. Bulbasaur, be careful of these cats sneaking on the fossil pterosaur. The fossil pterosaur is recovering and cannot be harmed again, Qi Bai warned. Upon hearing these words, the fossil pterosaur's mind felt as if it had been emptied, at a loss. He actually said he wants to protect me. Is this human treating me? Fossil pterosaur squinted its eyes but didn't move, only a group of cats attacked again. The treasure-gathering technique kept attacking the Bulbasaur, which had to be blocked with the flying leaf blade. But there were too many, and in no time, the Bulbasaur seed was hit by the Jubao Gong and lost its combat ability. Bulbasaur frog seeds. Qi Bai picked up the Bulbasaur seed and placed it next to the fossil pterosaur. He opened his arms and shouted loudly, "I will never let you harm Bulbasaur Seed and the fossil pterosaur." Although he said so, asking him to fight against a group of cats like humans, and even an elite cat boss, he was panicked. Maybe with just one move, he will die. However, as the trainer of the Bulbasaur, it has already fallen, so Qi Bai cannot abandon them. This is the responsibility of being a trainer. The cats were about to take action this time, but were stopped by the cat boss. They licked their paws and elegantly walked out of the group of cats step by step. Then a cold gleam rose from his paws, straightening his white throat. "Did you just die like this?" This is Qi Bai's idea at this moment. "I didn't expect to die before I even started showcasing my skills after the emergency evacuation system was activated." Bang! Meow! Qi Bai did not wait for the pain to arrive, but instead heard the screams of the cat boss. Opening his eyes, he saw a huge creature blocking in front of him, glaring angrily at the group of cats. "It's a fossil pterosaur. I didn't expect the fossil pterosaur to save itself." Qi Bai's nervous breathing was rapid, and he almost died again just now. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing Escape 2 and obtaining 2 experience candies. The sound of congratulations from the system rang out again, which made Qi Bai quite depressed. How can I reward 2 experience candies for narrowly escaping death? I'm not always able to narrowly escape death. What if I die one day? Anyway, Qi Bai is not satisfied with the system's reward. If there is a complaint function, he must file a complaint. No matter how small the mosquito is, it is still flesh. Qi Bai had no choice but to accept these 2 experience candies with peace of mind. Perhaps after eating these 2 experience candies, Bulbasaur can break through the ordinary level and reach the elite level. By the way, Bulbasaur seeds. Qi Bai quickly went to check on the injuries of Bulbasaur. Pok É Mon name. Bulbasaur seed, level. LV15 attribute. Grass type poison type characteristic. Chlorophyll gender. Male status. Serious injury qualification. Overlord level. Seeing the serious injuries in the status section, he couldn't help but frown. The continuous battle had already exhausted the stamina of Bulbasaur, and in the end, he was hit by the treasure-gathering skill of a dozen cats and cats. No wonder it's not seriously injured. Qi Bai took out a bottle of blue potion from the system space and slowly fed it into the mouth of Bulbasaur. I believe that soon, Bulbasaur will be able to regain its vitality. After all, the fossil pterosaur was on the brink of death and had not been able to fight for more than half an hour after taking the blue potion. The damage suffered by the Bulbasaur frog seed was not as severe as the damage suffered by the fossil pterosaur, and it is estimated that it will fully recover in just over 10 minutes. At this moment, the severely injured fossil pterosaur faced the threat of more than a dozen ordinary-level cats and an elite-level cat boss and never took a step back. Qi Bai glanced at the state of the fossil pterosaur. Serious injury, but there is still 20% strength left, which should be enough to deal with this group of cats. Roar! The fossil pterosaur let out a roar at this group of cats, and a domineering aura emerged from its body. It immediately frightened the group of cats and the cat boss, causing them to flee everywhere. When the fossil pterosaur was on the brink of death, it could not conceal its breath, but when it regained some strength, its breath could be restrained, which also led to this group of cats daring to come and offend. Now that the fossil pterosaur has released a dominant aura, these cats naturally dare not stay here for too long. Dada! Fossil pterosaur turned around and looked at Qi Bai. At that glance, Qi Bai was a bit scared. After all, he was a hegemonic Pok É Mon. If he wanted to die, it would be a matter of minutes. But the fossil pterosaur just stared at him for a while before extending a hand. This is... Qi Bai didn't understand what the fossil pterosaur wanted to do, but it seemed like he wanted to shake hands with him, so he put his own hand up as well. The two of them held hands together and looked into the eyes of the fossil pterosaur, as if he understood something. Zhou Yuan, Su Qingyun, are you arriving so soon? Qi Bai carried a backpack and saw Zhou Yuan and Su Qingyun, who were applying for the trainer qualification certificate at the Elf Alliance branch center. Qi Bai, are you okay? I heard from my dad that there was a robbery of Bakmeng at Nanyang Daoguan. I heard you were arrested and scared me to death. Zhou Yuan rushed over to Qi Bai and grabbed his hand, saying with a worried expression. Chapter 10. Selecting Pok É Mon. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. De Co Lois Ara Trong Quatrin Lay Text.